So I've been getting a lot of great feedback about the video that I shot. People want to know my approach to business, right? And my approach to business is that I approach business with this incredibly, aggressive state of mind. Again, we talked about the fact that your want has to be enormous, right? So, I kind of want to give you guys some tips as to, my approach to business, right? If you think about it like this, you have an advantage over every single person on the face of this earth. Yes. You have an advantage over every single person on the face of this earth. The problem is that you probably don't realize what that advantage is, right? So what's the advantage? What's the one thing that you have over everybody? I'll tell you what it is. Your greatest advantage is nobody knows what you're thinking. So therefore, they cannot possibly predict your next move. That is your greatest advantage. Let me say that one more time. Nobody knows what you're thinking, so therefore they cannot possibly predict your next move. In business, I am unpredictable. There's no way that I'm going to put myself in a position where individuals can predict what my moves are. You have to become unpredictable. If you're in a situation or you're in an environment where the people around you know what it is that you're going to do, in other words, your lifestyle is so set, it's so routine that people can almost set their clock to what you're going to do, then it's going to be very hard for you to become successful if that's what's going on in your world, right? Another thing is that, people aren't, when it comes to business, it's not that, people don't think in business. The problem is that people think too much. You got to stop thinking so much. Sometimes you can have a great idea and you might think so much about that idea, and you may continually try to add and improve, to that idea till it becomes cloudy and foggy in your mind. And then the next thing you know, it's complicated and you're thinking things are difficult now, and then you just don't take the shot. We miss 100% of the shots we don't take in life. You gotta take the shot. You've got to stop thinking so much, right? Business is simple. It's super simple, but it becomes complicated when you start thinking too much. This is known as paralysis by overanalysis. And paralysis by overanalysis is almost, to me, it's like a mental disease. It just means that you think so much, and you think so much to the point to where it becomes difficult for you to get anything accomplished, except for the super simple things in life, right? So I wanted to kind of dive into that, and then because you have procrastination, and it's terrible if you're a procrastinator, because it's going to be hard for you to become successful if you're a procrastinator in life. But also you have to look at procrastination versus acrasia. So what is acrasia? Well, with the procrastination, it's like there are things that you should do. And for whatever reason, you're putting them off till later. You'll probably get to it and get it knocked out, but you're putting it off till later. With acrasia, it's far worse than procrastination, because with acrasia, you actually know that you should do this particular task. You actually, it's even so much so that you know that this particular, if you were to go and get this knocked out, it would greatly benefit you. But for whatever reason, the should just doesn't motivate you and propel you to actually take action. Here it is, you know that there's something you could be doing, whether it be a seminar that you can go to, whether it's a book that you can read, whether that's somebody that you can go and meet with that has specialized knowledge in the area that you're trying to approach as far as business is concerned. And for whatever reason, that should just doesn't ignite you to take action. I am successful because I take action. I take the information that I know and I organize and intelligently direct that information. You have to organize and intelligently direct the information that you have in your mind. That is how you are going to become successful. You have to organize and intelligently direct the information that you have in your mind. People say that knowledge is power. And I know that you've heard that before. Oh, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. They've done ad campaigns talking about knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge only becomes power when it's organized and intelligently directed in practical plans of action. It's all about action. What's my favorite part of a movie, the production side of a movie or a video is when the director yells, action. That's what ignites me. Action. I'm all about actions, because when people say, well, if you think about it like this, oftentimes in life, and you've probably heard this, being said to you, that, things are easier said than done, right? Things are easier said than done. But what ends up happening is that there ends up being, more said than done. So you walk away feeling empty in the end, right? There's just a lot of talk going on, a lot of conversation going on. We should be doing this, we should be doing that, we should take this approach, and let's just go. Let's stop talking and go. Let's get in the car and move, right? What do we need to be doing right now? That's me. I'm always the guy that breaks up the group because there's all this conversation going on, and it's communication overload, I don't need all of that information. I just need to know, like, what do we need to do right now? Like, what direction are we going to take right now, right? That's what you want to know. But you have to be about action. Actions are in my opinion, it's the best asset you could possibly have, is to just be a person of action, because a guy who's about action is going to make something happen. Eventually, he will reach his goal. So that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. But again, we miss 100% of the shots we don't take in life. You've got to take the shot. You're never going to become successful if you're too cautious. People are too cautious. I don't know what's going to happen, and this could go wrong and that could go wrong. Everything is risky. Having a baby is risky. Falling in love is risky. Approaching a girl at the bar or whatever the case may be is risky. Yeah, we don't want to get turned down. You don't want to get rejected. Who wants to get rejected? Like, yeah, that sucks to get rejected in life. But guess what? You're already at no. This is how you got to look at it. I approach life like this. I'm already at no. So if I see the girl at the bar and I want to go and talk to her, I'm already at no, because I haven't approached her yet. So right now I'm sitting at no. I don't know her name. I don't know the information. I don't have her number. I don't know anything about this girl. So I'm already at no. So this can only mean one of two things. I'm going to approach this girl and she's going to either tell me no, or she just might like me and she's going to tell me yes. But either way, if you think about it, you can only benefit from the situation, because if you're already at no, that means you don't lose anything. If I'm already at no, that means I lose nothing. I go over, she tells me no, cool. I don't go over, I'm still at no. So if you think about it, why wouldn't you take the shot? You gotta take the shot, man. Sometimes you gotta jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down. And you gotta get really good at that. I jump off the cliff, I'm gonna build my wings on the way down. Matter of fact, I'm gonna float down. I'm gonna be so comfortable when I hit the ground, it's almost like I'm levitating, right? You have to take the shot. You can't be passive. There's 4 styles of communication, right? You've got the individual that's passive, you've got the individual that's passive aggressive, you've got the individual that's aggressive, and then you got the individual that's assertive. Right? So which one are you? Are you the passive type? Because it's going to be hard for you to become successful if you're passive. Are you passive aggressive? That means that, the passive aggressive guy is, he's saying things under his breath, like, oh, yeah, we might be successful, You can't take a passive aggressive approach. So you either want to be aggressive in business or you want to be assertive. I'll take one of the other. Right? So those are the 4 styles of communication. My style is I'm aggressive, but also I'm assertive. There's times when you got to scale that back. There's times when I can just walk into the situation and I can appreciate the individuals that are around me. I can appreciate their level of intelligence, and I can say, these guys are bringing, a certain amount to the table, so I can kind of tone it back. It's okay to do that. You got to kind of be able to assess the situation and be intelligent enough to say, you know what, everyone's going to handle their business. I don't need to be so aggressive right now. So I'll scale it back. But if I feel like things aren't going the way they need to go, if I feel like people are too relaxed, if I feel like individuals are too comfortable, if I feel like there's too much talking going on, let's go, man. So somebody's got to be that igniter, right? So that was one of the things that I wanted to touch base with you guys on. One more thing. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the God complex, right? Hold on, before we go there. It has nothing to do with religion, okay? The God complex has absolutely nothing to do with religion. I just want you to focus on what I'm saying. With the God complex, it's a tool, right? And it's not a tool that you use destructively. It's actually a tool that can change or alter the course of someone's life. So with the God complex, what that basically means is that you've elevated yourself, or you've elevated your level of intelligence to such a degree that you can actually look and see the weaknesses of the individuals that you're dealing with in business, right? You can see their strengths, you can see their weaknesses, you can see what opportunities they're going to be are, you can see if this individual is going to be a threat to you or not, you know. And with the God complex, it's a very powerful tool. Now here's the thing. Whatever that individual is missing, if you have the God complex, you have to be willing to give that individual what he or she may need, right? It's not just about you looking into someone and seeing what their weaknesses are. It's you having the ability to look into someone, see what the weakness is, and then help them fix it, right? That's what the God complex is. It's very, very powerful, and it's been a tool that I've used for years now, and it's actually helped me to scale to the level to where I am now. Okay, so that's what the God complex is. One more thing that I wanted to touch bases with you. Actually, I got a couple more things I want to touch bases with you guys on. Is your ego. You know, you have to destroy your ego. Your ego is costing you money right now. So you ask, well, what is my ego? Well, your ego is a collection of opinions that you formulated about yourself. You know, they're not real, but your ego is actually keeping you from meeting certain individuals, is keeping you from approaching that female that you may want to talk to, or going and approaching that guy that you may want to talk to, because you're too busy thinking about the situation, because that little voice inside your head is telling you, no, don't do it. She's going to tell you no. She's, you know, everyone's going to laugh at you and all those other things like that. I had to destroy my ego. I mean, I literally destroyed my ego, and what that did is it gave me just such a sense of freedom, because now I felt like I would approach anybody. If someone's had something, if they had some comparative advantage over me, or maybe they were in the type of car that I'd like to have for myself, or, you know, maybe they living in the kind of house I want to live in, or what, like, hey man, how you doing? You know, my name is such and such. You know, I really admire, you know, what you've been able to accomplish in your life, man. You think you got a second, you can maybe give me some pointers or some things that I can do or whatever. Like, you have to be able to approach people. The next hand you shake could be directly connected to the first million you make, but you'll never shake that hand if you're living through your ego, because your ego will keep you from talking to the person, period. And that's costing you money, okay? Right now, we're all headed somewhere. Even if you're sitting still on your bed, if you're on your couch, if you're in the car, wherever you are watching this video on this device, right now, you are headed somewhere. You are literally moving forward in life. Time is running through you. Time is running around you. You are on your way somewhere right now. This is what the scary part of it is for me, is because when you get to where you're going, wherever that place may be, who's going to be in control? Whose plan are you living right now? Are you living your plan, or are you living the plan that somebody else has set out for you? You think about that. Are you living your plan, or are you living the plan that someone else has set for you? Who's in control? Who has the steering wheel to your life? Who's making the decisions? Because every single decision that you make in life has a future attached to it already. This was something that I learned years ago. Think about that. It'll almost give you the ability to become a seer, or to be able to kind of predict a certain outcome in certain situations. When you think about a decision, once you make that decision, it already has a future attached to it. In other words, there are only certain things that are going to happen as a result of that particular decision. Let's say, for example, you decide to go and rob a bank. There are only so many outcomes that are going to happen as a result of that decision. So if you sit back and you think about your decisions, instead of making, spur of the moment decisions, make the decision and then sit back and write down, what are all the possible things that could happen as a result of me making this decision? How could it change or alter my life? Could it be destructive? Could it be the best decision that I've ever made, right? Because we're always one decision away from the best decision we've ever made. That's on the offensive side of it. On the defensive side of it, we're always one decision away from the worst decision that we could ever make. So you've got to look at your decision making, right? Offensive thinking. There's way too much offensive thinking going on. Most people, when they start a business, the first thing that they do is they think about all the, the wonderful things that are going to come as a result of this business. I'm gonna have big houses and cars and furs and jewelry and expensive dogs and all this crazy stuff like that, right? And we're just thinking about the things that we could get. Well, here's a tool that I want to introduce you to. It's called bulletproofing, okay? And bulletproofing is just defensive thinking. You want to become great at bulletproofing your ideas and concepts, because with bulletproofing, what that does is that it puts you in a position to become a defensive thinker. Meaning, when you sit and you think about your business plan or your idea, you have to ask yourself, what are all the things, what are the things that could potentially keep me from reaching my goal? That's what bulletproofing is. You ask yourself, what are the things that could keep me from reaching my goal, right? So you think about the offensive side of it, and with the offensive side of it, you're thinking, okay, I want this, I want that, I want to do this, I want to accomplish that, I want this done by this date. Great. Once you've got that, you set that to the side, and now you start to bulletproof. And you bulletproof everything in life. You don't not just businesses. You can use this bulletproofing technique for anything. So with the defensive side of it, you're thinking, okay, this is what I want on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, what are the things that could actually stop me from reaching the goals over here on the offensive side, right? So that's how you are bulletproof. That's how you approach bulletproofing, and you have to just think about things panoramic.